Hey everybody. So I tried to schedule a live video in advance, and when I went in to actually link it to the live video that I was doing, it didn't work. So I just had to go with the flow and am just going on live regularly, so it's not going to link to that event, but that's okay. So welcome to the Chakra Talk for today. And so today I wanted to check in with everybody on their throat chakras, because our throat chakras are a place where we can, when we get stressed, it shows up in our throat chakra. So we can tell a lot about how we're feeling, what's going on inside, by the health and balance of our throat chakra. So we'll be talking about that today, what it looks like, and then we're going to be talking about how to create more balance in that. So I thought first that we could take a centering breath together. So a nice clearing for the throat chakra. So if you'll find yourself in a comfortable seat, so create a seat that feels good to you. You can sit cross-legged, or my feet are on the floor. I like that for grounding. And we're just going to take 2 breaths together. So you can close your eyes here, and as you breathe in, lengthen up through the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, slightly part your lips and exhale. So let's do that again to cleanse out the throat chakra. Breathe in all the way up to the crown of the head. And exhale through the mouth. Let's do one more just to discharge any excess energy. Breathe in and let it go. All right, so that always helps me to feel better, more grounded. My intention for today's talk is where I got my inspiration was in my own body, in my own throat chakra. I noticed my reaction to a lot of the stress that's been happening lately, both externally and internally. And what I noticed with myself is that when I have a lot of emotions going on, a lot of differing emotions too. So some things that I feel are good, that I like happening in my life, some things that I don't like that are happening. I'm trying to balance those out within myself. And so when all that's going on within me, my throat chakra tends to close down. So what that looks like for me is I don't know what to say. So it's just like so much going on inside that it's like, all right, we gotta close it up. We gotta make, like, because there's just so much energy, so much emotion, that it's like it creates a bottleneck here in the throat chakra. So our throat chakra is the connection between our mind and our body. So when the throat chakra has a blockage in it, we lose the connection between our mind and our body. So our mind, it might be spiraling out of control, or we might have a lot of emotions going on inside and we're not able to bring that consciousness to them, because when our throat chakra is open, it creates a clear channel. The consciousness can come down into our emotions, into our lower chakras, and we can bring that energy from our instincts, from our emotions, from our individuality, from our heart, all the way up. So we want to have that clear path. But our throat chakra, if we're stressed, can become a bottleneck for the energy. So what happens when we get stressed from a chakra perspective is, if our survival is threatened in some way, we become uprooted. So it's like if we're a plant, we get pulled out of the ground. So we no longer feel the safety, security, and nourishment of where we were. We get uprooted, and so our little roots are dangling. We don't know where we're going to get our nutrients next. And so we go into survival mode, and all that energy that would be going down is brought up into the head. And so our mind thinks, okay, I need to take control of this. I need to think about this and figure it all out. So we have a lot of excessive mind activity when we're stressed. And I know from my own experience that that's usually not a good place to be when there's a lot of energy swirling around in the mind. So, what that can do is it can cause a disruption to our energy system where our mind and our body become separate. So our mind feels like it needs to figure things out, and our body is just swirling with our instincts and our emotions. And the bottleneck is at the throat chakra. So for me, as I mentioned, when that tends to happen for me, I get more deficient energy. So that it means that it kind of closes down. And so then that might look like withdrawing from people. That might look like not knowing what to say. That might look like isolating yourself. And turning more inward and not being able to express the energy that is coming up, that is swirling around. And we want to be able to do that. So it can look like shutting down. Another way that it can look is if we are excessive in the throat chakra, it can look like a lot of talking. And it's not integrated talking like having the emotion, having the consciousness and the emotions connected. It might be talking from the mind to bypass the emotion. So we might just say a whole bunch of words because it helps us to relieve our anxiety, but it's not really based on how we're really feeling. It might be to distract ourselves. Or we can have a whole lot of talking from our emotional center. We can just discharge our emotions out onto people and not even have the awareness and the consciousness to decide whether that's a good idea or not a good idea. So if your throat chakra is more excessive, that's how it could show up there. And we can go back and forth between excessive and deficient depending on the situation. Okay, so that's how it might look. And that's how we can tell the health of our system, because our throat chakra is what it allows us to communicate with the world. So our throat chakra is responsible for communication and integration. So all the parts of ourself integrate together when our throat chakra is open. All the parts from the higher chakras, the lower chakras, they integrate together and they're expressed through the throat chakra, self-expression. So when our throat chakra is balanced, we come from that place of integration. And that shows up in the way that we communicate with people, through our body language, through our voice, through our energy. So that's how our throat chakra emanates. So you can tell, like if you're interacting with someone, even over a computer, you can get a feel for their energy. And that's coming through the throat chakra. So when our throat chakra is not in balance, that means that all of our energy hasn't been integrated. We might be either too hung up in the body or too caught up in the mind. So that's a good awareness to have about yourself. And once you recognize that about yourself, you can, what we're going to talk about next is how you can balance that. So when you notice that maybe you've shut yourself down, maybe you haven't been able to speak the words, there's so many things that you want to say, so many feelings that you want to express, and they just won't come out, and you're just not able to communicate them, or you feel like you're just talking and nobody's really listening. So if you feel like that, it could be because you have, there's some problem, or there's something that is not, something that's blocking the integration there. So what we can do is we can allow ourselves to surrender. And what surrender means is letting go of our need to figure things out, our need to control, and we surrender to our higher power, the whatever is guiding our energy, whatever we may call that, we allow ourselves to open up to the force. So the first thing that we do, imagine that you're that plant, okay? So if you're a plant and your roots are dangling and you're not able to process your energy the way that you need to, you need to ground yourself. So just like we did in the beginning, taking a grounding breath or doing an activity that will help you to feel yourself in the body. So really getting into your body is a good way of grounding, and then connecting your body onto the earth. So maybe going outside, taking a walk, any of those things can help you to ground. So you want to get your root system in the earth first. And then if you are that plant, you want to allow yourself to open up to the sun, to the sky, to the heavens, to your higher power as well. So you're rooted down and you're open up. So you're going to receive the nutrients that you need, the guidance that you need from above. So your crown chakra is open, your root chakra is connected. And so that what happens when we do that is the system between it relaxes. So rather than feeling like, oh, I need to figure out how to integrate this, I need to figure out how to process this, that's just the mind's way of trying to remain in control. So when we're doing that, we need to let go and allow ourselves to surrender to whatever is happening in the moment, to allow ourselves to open up to that guidance that we can receive when we're fully present. If we're not rooted and grounded, we can't receive it because we're too scattered and our mind is trying to solve all our problems. When we're rooted, we have a firm foundation and we feel safe enough to open up. So that is what has been helping me over these past weeks. When I find that there is just so much turbulence and emotion going on, there's not a lot that I can do on an external level besides keeping myself safe. Just surrendering to this process and being present in each moment, because our guidance comes in each moment. It doesn't come in when we think about what's going to happen next, or when we worry about something, or when we're holding on to something that we really wanted. It comes when we have let go. And so that could be a mantra for this time, is just letting go of the need to control and just surrender into the process and allow life to move through you, because that's what it wants to do anyway. So we can get out of our own way and relax and allow it to do that. So I hope that helps you with your throat chakras over these next few weeks. And I'm going to be posting a video on some ways to sing the different seed sounds of the chakra system, so that you can clear out and tone up your specific chakras. We have a little video. So I'm going to post that, and just stay tuned for the rest of the month. We'll be talking about the throat chakra and then interspersing any of the other chakras that might come up, because they're all interrelated. So at any moment we could need help in a different chakra. So just stay rooted and grounded. That's number one, and become aware and open, relax. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. Namaste. Om. Thank you.